Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. What are some more of the red flags or the personality traits of someone with a borderline issue, a borderline personality disorder? Well, for one, someone who has kind of an unstable sense of themselves. They're not very, they don't have a very strong maybe self-esteem. And these can also be, very special people, very creative people, very dramatic people. I want to say that maybe they have a dark side sometimes. And, I want to almost say the goth personality type. But, someone who has a lot of kind of emotional kind of instability. And if they channel it, it can be, it's oftentimes very creative, very expressive. But it can also have what they would call like a dark side, which means that, they're more prone to drugs, drug abuse, hard drug abuse, self-inflicted, hurtful behavior, such as cutting themselves, very dark and depressing music, very sort of depressing to be around, really down on a lot of things in general. A dark side meaning, just really have an undergirding unhappiness, a sense of unhappiness, a pervasive feeling of self-loathing. A lot of the people who have a borderline disorder, you can almost sense it in their appearance. You can almost see it in their eyes, almost a piercing pain, a piercing sort of emotional pain. And they are oftentimes very depersonalized, meaning they're oftentimes not very present in the room with you. They're almost kind of shrieking back out of their reality. They are tending to withdraw quite a bit. They're tending to isolate quite a bit, meaning staying away from people in their room, kind of brooding a lot, very pensive, feeling like they're different, and oftentimes not feeling certain emotions they feel the way that they should. So it tends to be a cycle where they're getting down on themselves quite a bit. And if this is you or a family member, definitely seek some medical attention. I feel for you. It's not, it's got to, maybe not be the easiest situation to deal with. However, if you can, learn to identify this within yourself, and go and seek professional help. It's never easy to ask for help. It's it can be embarrassing. You don't know where it's going to end up. I don't want to use my insurance. I don't want this to be on my insurance. I don't want to have this stigma. Well, you know what? You've got to get over it, because getting help, getting some identification, figuring out what things are, and creating kind of a resource line for you, a program, a kind of understanding, I think will be the best, rather than suffering in silence and suffering alone. A lot of people, I think they tend to try to hide the disorder. They try to, overlive the disorder, and they're really suffering quite a bit, and they don't share this suffering with people. In fact, they tend to then, project it to other people, and, be kind of hurtful in things that they say and do. So, it's got to be very, difficult to manage that situation on your own, meaning without knowledge, without tools. So you definitely want to get some professional help, and, maybe, think about doing something proactive for yourself, starting a support group in your area. Looking at meetup.com, trying to find one if there's already one established for you. Contacting your local resources, in your area, in your school, in your community, in your hospital, where you might be able to have an outlet for this, and more of a positive, healthy outlet, and give you some structure. But and I say that to the people who are watching, who maybe have these symptoms, and are also kind of looking at the red flags, as well as people who are, trying to create relationships on a healthy sort of reciprocal level with these people, and trying to understand what's going on. What did I do? Was it me? Is there anything I can do to be with this person, because I really adore this person, but they don't seem to be adoring me and loving me back? because these people can be quite special and quite unique and, wonders of nature. And I know that they might not feel so good about that, but they certainly are people with a very unique human experience. And, if they can channel it and share with the world, that's better than suffering alone. So I definitely feel that to be true. I think they're very different from a narcissistic person in that they don't seek out, supply and just try to, find people to, exploit and sort of calculate in that manner. I think it's a little bit more innocent coming from the borderline. They know that, something is going on, but they really can't control it. So, if you're with someone who has, a constant need for like hyper overstimulation, you're finding it hard to keep up with, or they kind of, jump out of plans with you very quickly, irrationally. I mean, that's really can be a symptom of a borderline disordered sort of person. Also, emotional instability. Most humans do have a wide range of emotions during the day. Happy, sad, frustrated. We go through a lot of these feelings during the day. However, the borderline person has quite a bit of instability and extremes to the point where it disrupts their life. I mean, it's difficult for them to function. It's difficult for them to hold down a job. It's difficult for them to drive without road rage. It's difficult for them in their family situations because they lash out at their family so many times, it's like they're burning bridges. Emotional instability to the point where, they'll just leave events, they'll just up and leave. They'll just abandon people. So this can be quite chronic and ongoing, and so it can be a source of concern. And if you see a lot of this, it could be due to what they call a borderline personality disorder. And, nothing you can really do to help them oftentimes. I mean, even though the very paradox is that they do want help and they do want people to help them, but oftentimes when people reach out to help them, there's no kind of meeting in the middle. The people who do love them very much, so if that's of any consolation, there's a lot of people who do, love these people and are there to give and are there to, provide love and companionship and relationship and growing and want to share time and experiences with them. I mean, there's people who go well beyond their way to be there for these people, but during really hard times, or especially for fear of abandonment, when these people are too close or too intense, or they're feeling a change up, or somebody getting sick or leaving in their family, they tend to really bring on the hostility strong and consistently, and really end up pushing people away, alienating them to the point where a bridge is burned, and it's hard to go back. I mean, once they've really pushed you away, or like pushed you away for the 20th time, I mean, there comes a common sense method where you just end up feeling like, well, I have to cut my losses then, because something is going on here. And if they're not diagnosed, if they're not treated, and they're not willing to change, they're not able to change, then this is going to become, something for you to contend with and basically accept. So, especially with finances, if you're dealing with someone who has maybe spent a lot of your money, and, they don't have a lot of accountability for it. This can be an issue with the borderline. I apologize, my video seems to be doing something here. Okay, there we go. If they're dealing with, a lot of, they oftentimes have an issue with some impulse control. So if you find the person that you're with is very impulsive, I mean, it's fun to be spontaneous and it's fun to be able to have these things, but, if there's a lot of impulse control where, you're sitting to talking with this person and you're out with them, and then they just jump up, and then they're in the bathroom, and then they've met all these other people, and then they're over here, and then they want you to join with them, and then they're cutting you off, and then they're over here. I mean, it's very dramatic, and it's very evident that there's something, not just like let's go out and have a good time. There's some definite impulse control and some issues here, which really, again, serve to you know, burn a lot of bridges and make it near to impossible to have a relationship with these people on any sort of, you know, ongoing, you know, sort of foundational level. So, you know, in terms of handling them, I mean, if you want to, you know, accept these people the way that they are, I mean, then that's completely up to you. You can absolutely, you know, maintain and keep, you know, people in your life, but, you know, these are some of the red flags, and this is going to be basically what is going to be involved in the dynamics of the relationship. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos help. Please share, please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussions, and support.